Hi folks, it's Andy. Welcome to this week's Kendo Rant. It has been a minute since I did one of these shows. Let's move the light over there so you can see me a bit better. I was away for a couple of weeks. I was in Japan, had some business stuff to take care of. My daughter graduated from school. There was all sorts of things. But I'm back for a couple of weeks anyway. We've got some great questions for you today. Don't forget the YouTube magic, like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment down below using the word Kendo. Help us grow the Kendo population. And most importantly, support the channel by shopping at the best Kendo equipment website in the history and future of the human race. Of course, I would say that because I own the place, but everyone agrees with me. Shop at KendoStar.com. It is the best. It's the best. KendoStar is the best. Everyone's copying us, as you probably noticed. But we're the original. KendoStar.com. Except no imitation. Right, okay. Let's get to these questions, all right? There's not that many today, so should be a reasonably snappy episode, but let's see how much I ramble. Hello, Fish Sensei. Thank you very much for your great content. Thank you very much. The videos help me a lot to understand Kendo better. That's great. I'm currently trying to wrap my head around hidari-dou. In your great video mini-series, How to Win Shiai, about hidari-dou, you mentioned as a prerequisite for a successful strike that the feet of the opponent have to be planted on the floor and the elbow well above the datotsubui. In other words, the opponent is in a defensive posture and is about to block the attack. There's some videos where a sort of nuki hidari-dou is also used and awarded ippon. Is my interpretation correct that the blocking situation is just a much easier and safer opportunity, especially in Shiai, but it's not a strict prerequisite to be awarded ippon? Love your content, great Kendo videos, great Kendo equipment, shop at KendoStar. Thank you very much. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I did say that, all right? I did say in the video, which was from the seminar I did, How to Win Shiai, that when you do the, I call it Gyaku-Do, you're saying hidari-dou, that's probably the more correct term, whatever. When you hit do on the opponent's left side, okay, that really to get the ippon, you really need to get them to have their feet sort of planted and to get them to lift their shinai up this way. Fully open the door, all right? And the point I was saying of that is that if the opponent's in the kamae, you can technically kind of touch the door if you hit under their arm, even if they keep their hands down, but that's generally not considered a good opportunity. One of the criteria of Yuko Datotsu is opportunity, okay? So you have to have created a good opportunity to strike it, okay? And in the case of shikake Gyaku-Do, okay, so when you're just hitting the Gyaku-Do, then generally this is the time, okay, this one. But we'll have a look at the video you posted in just a second. In fact, let's look at that now, all right, and then we can talk about your example. But I can already imagine it, all right? I can already imagine it. But let's, you know, let's have a look. The fact is it's not that it's definitely a there's very little in Shimpan when you do the Shimpan of Shiai that's completely 100% black and white, all right? There's very little that's like that. So let's have a look. We've got this video here, all right? Found it here. It's a bit of an old one. This is from the 48th All Japan Tozai Taiko Kendo Championships, and this is from the All Japan Kendo Federation's YouTube channel. Let's have a quick look. I'll only put a snippet in it because the Zenkanen don't like it when people use their videos in stuff. But let's have a look. You said it was at the 110 mark, so let's get straight to that part. Hold on a sec. 1 minute 10. Okay. So here, I know this Shiai, and I know exactly what ippon is coming. All right, this is Koyama Sensei versus Ishida Sensei. Okay, obviously it's from a long time ago, before the Tsubazeri rules have changed. Okay, door. What a beautiful men nuki Gyaku-Do. Okay, yeah, amazing. We'll watch it in slow motion, and then I'll get it off the screen before I get in trouble. Wow. Okay, look, all right. This is a fantastic do ippon, all right? So it's, as I say, I was talking in that in the context of that video where I was teaching at the seminar, I was talking in the context of attacking Gyaku-Do, okay? Attacking, like shikake, all right? Whereas what this is the kind of oji waza, right? It's the nuki waza, right? So it's all about the opportunity. Yeah. Yes, this situation is also perfectly. I mean, obviously, we've got evidence that it's ippon, right? So the All Japan Tozai Taiko, right? Whatever they say overrules, or, you know, whatever happens there overrules anything I say. But this is why. All right. Yes. It's not. It's that it's easier and safer necessarily in terms of getting this one. This is the best way to like kind of demonstrate you've created the opportunity for the shikake Gyaku-Do, all right? But it's not a strict prerequisite because as you demonstrated in this video, in this example, obviously the nuki-waza is also a fantastic opportunity for the Gyaku-Do as well, okay? Next one. Dear Sensei, it's now that time of year when many students lay down their shinai. Japanese students graduate and may not be able to practice Kendo, whilst UK students go into revision mode or without dissertation and job hunting, with or without dissertation job hunting, and don't come back after the exams. Then again, Kendo teaches us things over and beyond what we do in the dojo. That is what the concept of Kendo is all about. Your motto, so to speak, is Kendo is life. With this in mind, may I trouble you for a short speech to all students who may be leaving the Kendo community, at least for now? Okay. I mean, I'm not sure about a speech, but I know what you're saying, all right? Now's the time of year, sort of end of, sort of March, April time, where, people have got exams coming up. Both of my daughters are going through this at the minute. My oldest daughter's just graduated from high school. She's getting ready to go to university. She's in this sort of limbo period. She's able to practice Kendo. My younger daughter, she's got exams coming up here in the UK at her school here. So she's really, overwhelmed with study, but she's still doing her best, but to practice. But I do understand, okay, especially if you're sort of further in education, if you're in university, stuff like that, you've got a very very sort of high level of pressure on you to achieve and attain the grades that you want. You've also facing the prospect of graduating and then potentially moving to a different place where Kendo might not be as accessible. My hope is that for all those people who are sort of have met Kendo during their perhaps university life, and that's maybe how they came to know Kendo. I hope that over the years you've spent, the recent years you've spent participating in Kendo, that you've really gained or created memories that will last with you for the rest of your life, and that you've hopefully made friends that will be with you going forward in your journey as well. What I would say is that in reference to leaving the Kendo community, I don't think that that's something that you necessarily ever do. You can take a break from the Kendo community, you can spend some time away from it, but you never really leave. It's always there for you when you're ready, or if you ever feel inclined to return. Kendo will always be a part of you one way or another. The lessons you've learned in Kendo will go with you, whatever happens from now. And it'll be waiting for you to come back. And it's up to you if you decide to do that again. And if you don't, then that's fine as well. But there's many people that do, and there's many people that don't. And either way, it's fine. But I do hope that Kendo has been a positive influence on your life. And I hope that if you do have to take some time away, I do hope that we see you again. And other than that, I wish you the very best in everything you do. There you go. That's the closest you'll get from a speech. The closest you'll get to a speech from me. It's been said that as we get older, the first thing that starts to degrade is the power in the legs. Now I'm 55 and I've been doing Kendo for 20 some odd years, and I have to agree. Granted, I know you're not at that age. You're what, 60 now, right? But throughout your experience and numerous discussions with older sensei, I'd be interested in your comments on how to accommodate this physical change as we move into our later Kendo years. Sincerely yours, Oyaji Kenshi. Okay, so I'm not quite 55. I'm 42. So you've still got a little bit on me there. But of course, I don't have the physical capability as I did when I was younger. Part of that is probably a large part of that is probably my age, but part of that is probably I don't train my body as much as I should or as I did when I was very sort of competitive. I was training much more and I was doing much more physical training. It's something that I should probably do more. I think that it's something I'm very mindful of as well, actually, which I'll come back to. But yes, it's undoubtable, you know, that we do start to lose our physical strength, and it starts with the lower body, I believe, and that can be difficult in Kendo because we use our lower body. However, it's not all about raw physical strength. I think one of the key things is that when we're very young, we can leap a long way, and as we get older, we can't leap as far, and we're also more prone to injury. So the two main things I think we have to consider as we age is one is our distance, our ma'ai, has to be appropriate for our current Kendo. There's no point trying to hit from really far away, even if you used to be able to hit from that distance. Maybe for some of us older people, it needs to be a little bit closer. And I think as you progress in Kendo as well, especially as you start to, you know, go up the sort of Dan grade understanding of Kendo, and you start to have a more deeper appreciation of semei and the interaction that happens before striking. I think it's the natural progression that the mai becomes closer between both parties as well. And the second is, I don't know how true this is, right? But I heard this on a TikTok reel the other day, that it was something about athletes, and it was that it was like running, and that there was you know, amongst people that train regularly and continue to keep on top of their physical condition, there's only a considerable drop off in physical performance. I think they said like after 65 or 70 or something like that. Now I'm pretty skeptical of that, right? I'm pretty skeptical of that, but I don't know. But what I do know is that I do not keep my body in as good condition as I should and as I did when I was younger and I was more actively competing. All right. And that is wrong, because actually I should be doing more than I did then in order to keep things at the level I want them. So I think there's an element of being sensible about it, but ensuring that we keep our body in good condition so that we're able to you know, perform Kendo in the way that we want to. You mentioned what I've seen from older sensei. Now, one of the senseis that I really, really respect, I'm not going to name drop him, but one of the senseis that I really, really respect is Hanshi Eitan sensei. And he's in fantastic shape, as most of them are, all right? Most of the Hanshi Eitan senseis are in great shape, okay? They're in great shape. And the sensei is, I can't touch this guy. I can't touch him. Last time I did cake with him, I literally couldn't touch him. And the guy is 71 or 72. Okay. So like, you know, he's got that 30 years on me, right? And I can't touch the guy. But this guy he's in great shape. He's in great shape, but he obviously really cares about and looks after his physical condition. So I think that that's something, as we get older, it's easier to be less strict on ourselves on that. In my experience, anyway, certainly I am. All right, it's easier for me to at my stage in life now. You know, my kids are getting older and stuff, and you know, I have more free time, a little bit more free time, and a little bit more sort of opportunity to be lazy, or maybe eat things that I shouldn't eat so much of, or drink alcohol. Though I don't drink as much alcohol as I did when I was younger, but these days, but still, you know, I could, my body could process it better then. So I think there's an aspect of that as well. All right, I think the real key is keeping on top of our physical condition, training, strengthening, keeping our muscles strengthened, our tendons strengthened, because it's very easy to get pains and injuries in our tendons, and they are they're caused by not caused, but they're helped by strength training. Sorry. So I think, in my opinion, I'm very conscious of this thing that you're talking about now. My opinion going forward and my intention going forward is to probably take more care of that, so that I can continue practicing at a level that's closer to what I'm happy with, for a longer time. Okay. Not easy though. Okay. Next one. How to make the most out of training with lower grades. Our club is relatively young, with mostly lower Q members and one Shodan. We've no sensei, and currently I have extremely limited possibilities to attend seminars or visit other dojos. My main focus is working on semi, but it's really hard when my training partners don't yet play the semi game. There's either absolutely no response, attacking completely random, or waiting and blocking. Rarely, when I get to train with my peers, it feels like there's actually some sort of conversation and tension building between us. Or is it that my semi still just sucks? It's hard to say because I don't really know which level you're at. But of course, beginners are not going to understand that kind of semi interaction, but that's not their fault, So they're still going to react to you in some way. All right. They might not react in the way you want them to, but they're still going to react in some way to your approach. Right. And that in itself is your semi. Right. There's not just one type of semi or one particular pattern. Right. You make your approach and you see how they react, and then you then respond appropriately. Okay. So it can be very good practice for you, actually, because. Okay, no response, fine, hit then. If they attack randomly, then that's fine, and then do the ojiwaza. If they or debana, all right, which is, if there's that much difference between you, should be quite easy. If they're just waiting and blocking, then make them think you'll hit. When they block, hit the pot that's open. Okay, but the key is training your eye and watching them so that you're not just mindlessly fighting them either, but instead using your experience to make sure that you make the perfect ippon. And through doing that, I think you will probably help them raise their level as well, to be honest. But it's not their fault. It's not because of them. It's, you have to deal with that. If there's a significant skill gap that you're talking about. Okay, last one. Hi Sensei, a couple of short questions today. I got a Hakama where the himo is almost twice as long as my other normal ones. I've been wrapping them twice around my body, but is there a proper way to put this on? I'm assuming you're not supposed to trim them. I've heard that there's a rumor that there is a new rule that Nito players can now score a point with the short sword. I thought that's always been the case. How much should I worry about this new rule? On a side note, I got my hands on the Victory Gen 3 Boga, and it looks so good and feels light, and I can't wait to wear them in tournaments after I break them. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you for the time. Okay, about the Hakama. Right, so you're getting the top bit. You're saying the himo are twice as long. Doesn't that just result in a bigger bow? I don't understand why it's that much of a problem. Like, it goes around here, around the back, then comes out the front again, then you cross it at the front and then back again, right? These are the longer himo, right? And then you take it back around the back and then tie it in a bow. So if the himo are quite long, you're going to have something of a bigger bow, that bow at the back. That's the worst thing that's going to happen. But it's tucked inside the hakama, so I don't see, I wouldn't cut them, but I don't see it as being a big problem. And then at the front ones, you're going to come around the front, you're going to tie it, and then you're going to bring them around, then you're going to tuck them in. And then again, yeah, they might be a bit long, so they might kind of, but it's inside the hakama, so it shouldn't be visible. I don't think that, I can't envisage how that's a big issue. All right, you need to send me a photo. All right, about the rumor that there's a new rule, and I heard this as well, it's nonsense. There's no new rule. There's no new rule about Nito-Ryu, all right? I don't have the little handbook here. I do have this book here, though. I got this recently. This is Koda Sensei's book, the Kendo Shimpan manual. And there's a page on, there's a page in here about Nito. Here it says Nito questions and answers. And look, let's see. So it says here about making the datotsu with the shoto and it becoming the valid strike. Could you give a detailed case of how it can be considered valid? So it's essentially, right, the daito has to completely control the shinai of the opponent. So the longsword has to be controlling the longsword of the opponent, and then you can make the strike with the short sword with your arm fully extended. And if it meets the criteria, it can be considered ippon. Valid, okay? It can be, all right? I'm going to read this case in a minute, but it can be considered ippon. Doesn't mean it is. Can be, okay? That's not changed. That was always the case. Always the case, okay? In principle, though, you can't use the shoto to make the valid strikes from tsubazariai. So you can't use it for hikiwaza, okay? Or from tsubazariai. You can't just hit from tsubazariai, okay? That's written in the book. Both of those are written in the book, okay? Right, let me have a read of this, and then I'll come back to you with the example. Okay, so for example, the example is given here. This says, can you please give an example of when like an example of a strike that could be considered valid with the shoto. So it says that when the opponent aims for the kote that is holding the daito, and then so let's say you've got, I don't know, like I don't do Nito, but okay, should we do it this way? Right. So the opponent's aiming for this kote. As they come into strike, you control the incoming strike with, like, you know, with the daito to defend their strike, and then you make a strike with the shoto on their men with the arm extended. That's what it says is a potential example of how you could score. Of course, in the second sentence says, of course, it must meet all of the criteria of Yuko Datotsu. Okay, so just hitting is not enough. All right? So yeah, that's not new. That's not new. There is in the kind of handbook for the Shiai and Shimpan guidelines, there's a question in there as well that says, why is striking with the shoto so restricted? And it says clearly in that as well, it says that, look, Nito-Ryu is it exists in Kendo as part of its culture and tradition, and the kind of restriction on awarding points with or striking with the shoto is there to maintain fairness and safety. Okay, so yeah, there we go. It's a difficult one. It's very, very hard to achieve the Yuko Datotsu with the shoto. I'll be honest with you. But nothing's changed. Nothing's changed about it at all. All right, nothing's changed. They just put out some further educational documents for Shimpan. That's it. But they haven't changed anything. There's no new rules on it at all. Okay, absolutely not. Okay, and there we go. Okay, we're done. Thank you for joining me for, today. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Shop at KendoStar. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.